There's an old Zen story about a king who had grown sick and dissatisfied of his civilians, of his population. So he decided to test them. And his way of testing them was simple. It's a simple plan. He'd put a boulder in the middle of the road blocking the entrance to the city. He wanted to see how they would respond. Would they walk away? Would they try and move it? Would they work together to try and move it? He didn't know. So he hid round to observe how they would react. Later the day goes by and civilians come. They make it to the stone and most of them turn away. Some of them, half triangly, try to push a stone. It didn't work. Some even openly cursed out at the king, claiming that it was his fault and what inconvenience he had made. The king was disappointed. The day goes by and a lone peasant makes his way down to the stone. The peasant didn't turn away. He saw the obstacle and tried to push it. He strained and he strained. It didn't move. The peasant turned and went into the forest. A couple hours later he returned with a branch, which he had turned into a lever as a way to move the stone. He lodged the lever under the stone and pushed down on it. The stone moved. Under the stone was a purse. Inside the purse was masses and masses of gold, masses of wealth for the peasant, and a letter. The letter read, it was from the king. The obstacle in the path becomes the path. Never forget, what stands in the way, there's always an opportunity to improve our condition. Now, got a question. What's stopping you? Your physical appearance? Your race? Your age? Your parents? Your family? What's stopping you from moving forward? I've asked the question, but this is something that you have to ask yourself and find an answer in dialogue with yourself. What is it that's holding you back? All the things that I mentioned, yes, they're valid reasons. But then also look back in time at the people who had these problems and managed to push past. The sports player who's too short. The mathematician who didn't have a good education. It all ranges. And these were all people who saw their problems and their obstacles and flipped it on its head. Turned them into opportunities. Managed to look at it as twice as good. We can all learn something from them. What obstacles are you facing in life right now that you don't know how to get through, that you're avoiding, that you're scared of? What are they? Look at your problems. Ask yourself if this is something you can go through. Because if you can, there's something positive on the other side. There's a quote from the book where this story also comes from. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. The quote is, what stands in the way becomes the way. The quote is, an impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. And that's a quote by Marcus Aurelius. Now think back to Roman Emperor era where they were thinking these things. If it worked for them back then, it's going to work for us now. This book is totally based around turning your problems on their head, going through your problems, looking at them as opportunities, and looking at your negative issues with a positive outlook as a way to push yourself forward into solving these problems. continuing on that point, there was an answer to a question by Jordan Peterson which I think relates to this point. The question that was asked was, the depth of my consciousness causes me to suffer. Is it a blessing or a curse for me to feel so deeply? Peterson's response to that was, the only way is through. You take enough of what poisons you and turn it into a tonic that girdles the world around you. I think it's an important lesson to learn that whatever negative situation that you come across in life, find a way to turn it positive. Find a way to find the good in the problems. Find the way to look at it as an opportunity where you can emerge from the hole, from the woods, from the trenches with a positive mindset and eventually guarantee your success post emerging. I hope that was helpful to some of you. Hope you find this video to some use. Hopefully you can apply this principle in your life today, tomorrow, next week, next month, or in the next year. And on that note, I'm out. Mwah.